Hi, Pep. Every year you've been in England, the team that has won the Premier League has put together a long run of winning games. Do you feel like that is the standard again this year that anyone has to aspire to?
Yeah, the champion will be. We have to win a lot of games. Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure. 1990 over.
Yeah, so sort of better than last year then, because the standard dropped a bit last year.
Well, last year it was a COVID. It was without people. It was a tough year for all the clubs. So, and sometimes it make consequences to drop some points. But so we won the league quite comfortable.
Yeah.
At the end.
And when you are on a winning run like you are at the minute in the league, does that make it kind of more important to try and keep it going for as long as you can?
I said last weeks, with the runs we have done, never thought the runs when we start these runs what we should do. So we won the last games in the Premier League. What's next? It's Wolves, top of the league right now, close to the top. So this one, and after Tuesday against Leeds, and not think about that. It's a bit confused to think about runs and long runs, but when you start to think about that, you are going to drop points and drop games. So think your next one, and this is the most important thing.
Cheers, Simon. Jamie Jackson. You're on mute, Jamie. Jamie, you're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear my dulcet tones now?
Can.
Okay. So with regard to your team and your players, what's the one thing you fear the most that can maybe, affect them and stop them challenging? Is it maybe an arrogance, a subconscious sort of presumption that you're going to win? What's the thing you have to guard against the most for your team?
We don't have that feeling. We behave completely the opposite. We don't have that feeling. Sustain the titles that we have done the last years. When you are arrogant, you don't do it. Absolutely, completely the opposite.
So, what is the one thing? What is the biggest thing you have to sort of manage? Is it just the expectation? Is it injuries? What's the one thing that can really harm your team?
No, the injuries we hopefully not, but we handle it. When is not player is available, there is another one. So no complaints about that. Absolutely not. They have to recover as quick as possible to come back to the team. And expectations always are higher when you achieve what we achieve in the last years again. So the standards are higher and the expectations are higher. And handling this, you have to work harder and more, conscious that what we have to do and everything we can improve. So this is what the only concern I have. The rest, openings always exist, always can be better. It's not a problem. It's just try to have the feeling that we can improve, and the players have to have that feeling. Otherwise, I said many years. So doing the same I've done in the previous seasons will not be enough. And the only thing to improve is accepting himself that you can improve. And in the training sessions, work in your weakness sides and your weakness points to get better.
Jamie, Rob Dawson.
Hi, Pep. Just on the COVID situation, obviously with the situation worsening a little bit, would you ever speak to your players to ask them to avoid restaurants, avoid theatres or parties or anything? Is it something that you would consider doing if it helped your squad stay together?
No, they know. The club speak with them, and they know that they have to be careful and not go to gatherings and being at home as much as possible, or when you go out, and be careful the social distance and mask and come back. As much you protect mentally and feel that you are out and you can get the COVID and live with that feeling and you can get the COVID, you are chance that you will not get it because it's there. So you just see the statistics, the new rules for the government, and everyone is, still there, and this is still there, unfortunately. And there is setbacks, and and you have to protect, because in Christmas time they had a tendency for that, that for more parties that go out more often, and that you have to be careful.
And how difficult is that for a player? Obviously, playing Premier League football is so intense, and they go to restaurants to relax and to switch off. When that outlet isn't there, is that tough mentally for them?
Why should be different the players for the rest of the humanity or the rest of the society? The rest of the people always likes to go to restaurants and go out and talk with the people. So we are not exception. So we are fortunate that we have a job and we can put 50,000, 60,000 people in the stadiums. So this is the reality. So they have to accept it that we are in a dangerous situation.
Thank you, Rob. David Mooney.
Hi, Pep. Just to build on Simon's question before as well about how the league's different this year, I just wondered what the impact of fans returning has been for you and your team. I just wondered if it's harder to get results because of going to away grounds with fans in, and if there's more pressure at home because the fans are there and kind of expecting things to happen.
Listen, we won with fans and we won without fans. And without fans is exception. We play all our lives, being teenagers, being in academy, being in the professional world with fans. So this is more than normal. So it's not absolutely a problem. And I think the players give enough adrenaline and enough energy. You play with our fans or against them to do what you have to do.
Thank you, David. Paul Hurst.
Hi, Pep. I missed the start of Rob's question, so apologies if you were asked this already. But are the players going to have a Christmas party this year? Is that something that's just not possible in this kind of, in this era?
I think the situation is completely different last season, but so the club, for example, this organization, Man City, every winter time or Christmas time, organize a party for all the workers, all the people here, and we cancel. We cannot do it. But everyone at home, when with the family and kids organize a party, I think they are going to do it. Just be careful. Today we are flow test, we are PCRs, and everyone can do it easily than the previous Christmas times. So we're not going to say don't do it. Just be careful and that's all, because the risk is high. Look what happened in other teams like Tottenham and Leicester, that many cases it happened. So it can happen here as well if we don't pay attention. So, and after that is a big problem for them, of course, for the healthy, for the family, of course, for the team.
And obviously you played in Leipzig behind closed doors on Wednesday. Obviously there was no atmosphere. Was that did that remind you of, you don't want to kind of see that again because it was, just seemed to affect.
Yeah, of course. We adjust when we start to play behind the closed door. We need the time to adjust that, and after we adjust again to play with the people in the stadiums, back in the stadiums. But I would say it was easier to adapt. And after one game without people, it looks weird in the beginning, of course. But it's what it is. So German authorities decide for the situation is there. They have to play behind the closed doors. Well, the game, the Bayern Munich Barcelona happened the same. And we have to accept it. So the most important thing is the people be safe. Absolutely.
Thank you.